What's up, creators, creatrixes, and other conceptual creatures? I'm Wicked. I'm giving power back to the people, and you can't stop me. To continue on with our love mini-series, today we are going to be discussing love spells. But before we dive in, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and click that little bell so that I can keep helping you keep your third eye in the sky. With all that being said, let's dive in. Now, when it comes to casting love spells, some of the best advice that I have for you is better don't. But half of the reason that I do my channel is so that I can give you absolutely all of the information so that you can make these choices for yourself. I am not here to gatekeep, not because of my own opinions, not because of popular opinions, not because of any opinions. I am here for the facts and to present them to you to the best of my ability. So, we are going to ignore all of the advice against casting love spells and talk about how to do one properly. Because the truth is, it's really not up to me or anyone else to tell you how to walk your path. So if this is the fork you're going to take, I want you to do it with as much knowledge and preparation as possible. One of the next best pieces of advice that I can give you when it comes to casting love spells is to never cast one on a specific individual. When you are casting any sort of love spell, it is best to attempt to manifest a match rather than try and invoke these feelings in another human being. We want love to be a natural process. We want to be in alignment, meaning that it's right for the universe and everyone involved. We don't want to be just imposing our will on anyone else just because they caught our attention. However, if you are going to cast a love spell on a specific individual, it is really important that you make sure you cast the right spell for that person. Every person is unique, and so too is every spell. So finding a Pinterest love spell probably isn't going to get you the results that you desire. It can be a great place to get inspiration, but it should be used for that and that alone. There are lots of different ways that you can tailor a love spell to meet a specific person, and this advice is going to go for any type of spell that you might cast for another with or without their permission. It's always better to get their permission. It is going to be less energy expended for you, and obviously we're fans of consent. But again, not here to gatekeep, and you can do what you will. When you're working spells that involve other people, one of the best ways that you can make the spell really unique to them is to take a look at their natal chart. Now, you might not have access to their exact natal chart, but if you know when they were born and where they were born, that can give you a pretty good idea. And if you can't figure out those details, if you know what day they were born, you at the very least know what their sun sign is, which can help. But if you're actually close enough to this person to have access to their natal chart, you are going to want to look at the certain areas of their chart to make sure that they blend well with your spell. So let's say you want to cast a love spell on somebody with a water Venus placement, and all of your love spells involve using fire elements. There is a possibility that this isn't going to jive well with them. Remember, this is an attraction-based universe, so rather than posing the opposites, you're going to want to set the stage to attract like energies from this person. So if they have a water Venus, you are going to want to use water elements in your spell. This is going to help empower and charge and attract their Venus placement. And again, this can work for any type of spell with any type of person. You would just change the certain area that you're looking for. So if you're casting a spell to help someone heal in ways of communication, you would look at what their Mercury is. If you're trying to help someone with their luck, you would look at where their Jupiter is. This can be applied to anyone for any reason, but it is powerful advice, and it is going to help you ensure that your spells are successful. Correspondence are a big thing in the craft. So if you have to cast a spell on another human being, which in reality, if you can get creative, you never really have to. But again, your path, not mine. If you have to cast a spell on another human being, you are going to want to make sure that your spell and your spell ingredients have as many correspondences that match this person and their energy as possible. Our birth charts are our cosmic coding, meaning that by understanding what we are made up of, it is much easier to understand how to work with those energies in a successful way. Now, when it comes down to actually casting a love spell, one of the best things you can actually do is cast a love spell on yourself. Allow yourself to open up your heart chakra. Try not to force your will in anyone else's life except your own. If you really feel that you are ready for love, allow your heart to open up. Love spells are best cast on willing parties, and if you are searching for love, there is no party more willing than you. When you're casting a love spell, whatever kind it may be, aimed in whatever direction, it is extremely important that you use rose. It can be rose flower, rose incense, rose oil, rose petals, it doesn't matter. But let me explain to you why this is so incredibly important. Because once again, we live in an attraction-based universe. Roses are the closest that we can get to love in the physical reality. Their vibrational frequency is almost an exact match of the love emotion. And this is going to help you then attract love into your life. If you're really trying to attract love into your life, wearing rose oil can help with this. So too can burning rose incense and keeping roses in and around your home. So regardless of what you're using your spell for or any other ingredients that you have, having rose as a main ingredient is incredibly important because it's incredibly potent and it is going to help you get your desired results. Spellcraft is all about matching energy so that you can attract it back in, and rose in any form can help you get there. Now, regardless of what kind of spell you are casting, you are going to want to make sure that you are casting it for the right reasons. And this goes back to the video that I did on self-love and care. If you are casting a love spell because you are completely devoid of love, it's better not to waste your energy. Your energy would be better spent learning to love yourself first. You cannot attract something that you are not already resonating with, no matter how many spells you cast. You have to learn how to hold the frequency of love within yourself before you can attract it out in the physical dimension. Only cast love spells when you are truly ready to give and receive love. If that is something you're still working on, then instead cast a spell to help yourself get ready to give and receive love. It's that concept of casting a love spell on yourself again. We can truly only control our own energy, but we can choose what we attract based off of the frequency we choose to resonate with. So most love spells are, again, actually better spent on the self, getting us into the correct frequency so that we can attract the correct experiences for us and solid matches that will actually be successful and make us happy. Another important thing to know about love spells is that while it's very common to use colors like red and pink, this isn't actually the best course of action. Red corresponds to the root chakra. This is all about stability and security. And if you seek that in your relationship, which I'm hoping that you do, it isn't a bad idea to have a red candle, but you don't want it to be your only one. Green corresponds with the heart chakra. Inviting the color green into your love spell once again helps you get your frequency to that right resonance. You may also want to consider bringing in the color orange, because orange corresponds to the sacral chakra, which is all about connection and sexuality, as well as creativity. So this allows you to bring that energy into your life, into your relationship, to help keep it balanced as you move forward. When you're putting together your love spells, also make sure that you pay attention to what the correspondences of each ingredient are. Cinnamon is often suggested for love spells, but it's important to know that cinnamon corresponds with the element of fire. And this goes back to what we said about a person's natal chart. So if you know that their Venus is in a water placement, or even their Mars, using too much cinnamon might not be the right choice of action. You want to make sure that you're not just using any old ingredient, but you're using ingredients that are actually going to want to work for you. But above all else, one of the things most people get wrong when they are trying to cast a love spell is the intention. And this isn't necessarily because they don't have a good intention, but because they're casting the spell for the wrong reasons. In order to have an effective spell, you have to be able to match the energy of that which you are trying to attract. And oftentimes people cast love spells out of desperation, making them the complete opposite energy of that which they are trying to bring in. putting up a whole bunch of resistance and keeping them even further away from finding their partner. It's honestly quite sad when you think about it. There is some sort of weird trick in the mind built into the human ego that keeps us usually acting in resistance to the things that we want. This is why higher consciousness is so important. And this is why in magic it is always worth contemplating why you're actually doing what you're doing. Don't be afraid to get down deep beneath the surface. It's not just, why do you want to cast a love spell? Oh, because I want to find love. But why is that? Why do you think you need it? Why do you think it's lost? Paying attention to your narrative about the situation is also incredibly important. As with anything else, if you have limiting beliefs in your subconscious, it is going to be very hard for you to bring in that new love with just one spell. It is going to take the work and the time of recalibrating. Only once you've done these things and gotten right with your shadow can you then successfully attract in that which you desire. You have to be able to match the frequency of what you are trying to attract. So if you can't get yourself to a love frequency, you're not going to be able to bring in that perfect partner you've been dreaming of. There are so many elements that go into a good spell, and a lot of them require us to be really mindful of what we are working with and why we are doing what we're doing. The most important thing you can do when practicing any type of magic is to stay mindful. Please note that nothing I've shared here is actually meant to discourage you from casting a love spell. If that is what you feel you need to do at this point in your life, then by all means, follow your path, follow what is calling to you. But make sure that you do it with as much information as possible. If you're going to put all of this energy into something, you want to make sure that it is going to work for you. So don't be afraid to double check yourself, to really plan out the spell, to dot your I's and cross your T's. Make sure that everything is in order before you start casting. And last, but certainly not least, when you are writing your spell, make sure you use language in the present tense. You do not want to cast a spell for the future tense, meaning it's not about what's coming or someday or eventually, it's about now. A spell is a thank you letter to the universe for this thing that is already done. You have to be able to convince the universe that it has already happened in order for you to manifest it. That is once again matching the energy of this. So keeping yourself in a place of my love is coming in is keeping yourself in a state of desiring something. And when you're there, you're lacking something because you're in the wanting frequency. When you are grateful, when you are acting as if it is already here, the universe can then meet you there by bringing in what it is that you are grateful for. Gratitude is the key to manifesting. So making sure that you are writing your spells as if these things are already true, as a thank you letter to the universe, you are getting out ahead of your manifestation and allowing yourself to really line up with it so that it can come in with no resistance. Remember, there is no reason to be afraid of magic when you know that you are doing it right. So do heed my warnings, take everything I said into consideration, and make sure that you are connecting with your higher self throughout this process and any magical process, because that is going to be the best way for you to know if you are taking the right path for you. If you ever question a choice, especially in the craft, one of the best things you can do for yourself is get quiet and listen to your higher self's advice. Trust your intuition, follow what calls you, and do not be afraid to flex your power. Just make sure you know what to do with it. That's all I have for this one. Thank you so much for joining me, and make sure to like and subscribe so that I can help you keep your third eye in the sky. Stay blessed.